Good morning, friends. This is Jelly Bean. Stay tuned because Morning Inspiration with Friends is about to start. Grab your coffee or tea and tune in as my mommy inspires you. I'm going back to sleep, but you enjoy the message.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Jelly Bean. And guess what? Guess who's here? You want to say hi? You want to say hi to the people? Come here. Say good morning. Say I didn't go back to sleep yet. I'm here with my mom so she can inspire you. You want to get down? Okay. Morning, y'all. It's your girl Tanisha Shanae, Miss Inspiration, with another episode of Morning Inspiration with Friends. Sorry that Wednesday my internet just really sucked. It was just doing what it wanted to do all day long. Um, and then yesterday we had our Throwback Thursday, so I feel like I haven't seen y'all in some days because it has been some days since Tuesday and it's Friday. But it's Friday. Whoop whoop. Happy Friday to all of us. All of us. All right. Some people probably starting to get ready for the holidays, taking off. I know yesterday I finished wrapping some presents. I adopted a family for the holiday season, and they want you to wrap all the gifts, not put them in gift bags. So I had to do that. Yes, I had to do that last night because I'm gonna drop them off today to the social worker who's going to get them to the family. So I was really excited. Um, if I'm gonna post it on my YouTube channel, but I had did a reel. My sister was talking crap about my rapping. She hasn't seen my rapping in years, and my sister was like, "You can't rap," and I did. So I showed the people, at least what it ended up looking like. And I'll do like a last picture. I have two more gifts to wrap. I just need boxes and I need to put my Walmart order in right after this so I can get it in time. But, that's the holiday season. We'll talk more about that as we get through the next couple of weeks. I will take off the week between Christmas and New Year's, just to kind of get recentered, refocused, and yeah, for 2026. But yeah, so today I want to talk about, because all week we kind of got started about talking about careers and transferable skills, things of that nature earlier this week. I think that was Monday. That's when we had LinkedIn joining us. We actually had some people follow from that live from LinkedIn. So we might start any career. I should have put this one to go to LinkedIn. I'll share it afterwards. But I just want to talk about, like, we're in the last couple of days. What? How many days do we have left until, was it? We have the last couple of days of 2025. Okay. And many people maybe not thinking about side hustles and making extra money. They're thinking about a new career. And so I really want to talk about just simple career moves that you can make right now that can help you, um, so that you can make the right decisions. The one thing I will start before I even give you the three things, but as a part of the three things, is I want you to get out this mindset that, everything has to change or everything needs to change in January. We speak about that. I speak about this quite often. A new choice, a new career, a new life, a new lifestyle, a new year does not have to start January 1st. It doesn't even have to start on your birthday, because some people, they will use their birthday as that's their new year. A new year happens anytime that you make a choice, right? It's not a calendar event. It's an intentional choice of saying, what is it that I truly want? What do I want my life to look like, right? And so when you're looking at a career, I want you to think about it like, is like why, right? Sometimes people just want to move just to move. Maybe you haven't gotten a promotion in a couple of years. Maybe your boss is just not supportive, is a micromanager. Like, figure out really why you want to. But you have to, like, start making those decisions, and you don't have to have that conversation in January, right? You don't have to start applying in January. You can start applying right now if you know exactly what you want, right? It's very unlikely. I'll say unlikely because it's not unheard of, but it's very unlikely that you would, like, apply for the job and get started in December. Um, very unlikely. Now, does it happen? Absolutely. Right. Depending on what kind of career you're in, what kind of job you're looking for. There are some companies that are looking to hire right now still. Like, I want that also to that myth that no one is hiring right now. That's not true, right? Every place. I mean, and I'm talking about not just like big corporate jobs. Go on, Jason. Right. I'm not talking about big corporate jobs. Some people are just looking to go from maybe home health care and maybe into customer service. Oh, everything is well over here. I pray everything is well with you and yours as well. Um, and so I want people to start realizing that there is still some time right now, right? You can start making changes right now. So don't get into that mindset of thinking like, well, I need to start applying in January. You really might start this need to get started, right? Start putting those applications in. Start putting the opportunities out there, because when January does come in, if those companies do not hire you in December, in January, those interviews are going to start to flood in. So we need to start doing the groundwork, right? And whether that is actually applying or just doing the research. I was speaking to my sister last night about that. For many of you who don't know, I live now in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And a lot of like oil companies are still out here, factory, warehouse jobs. And what I've noticed as far as just going through Indeed, a lot of jobs for a lot of those companies in Tulsa are not advertising on Indeed. You really have to know where to apply. And so because I'm always going to be in this role of just kind of supporting people, helping them make those next decisions, because that's what I have always done for the last 15 years as an educator in any capacity, whether I'm actually in the classroom or not. I'm always trying to help people to make that next decision, help them take that next step. And so one thing that I read yesterday was that Boeing, the airplane, they are going to be bringing operations back to the Midwest and to the South. So they're bringing operations back to Tulsa. They're bringing operations back to Dallas, I think Kansas City. It was quite a few. So I had posted because I moved to Tulsa through a program called Tulsa Remote, and I had told them like, hey guys, I have not seen this anywhere else besides this news article. And Bowen is coming back. If anyone is looking for a job in this particular industry, put your ear, get signed up, put your sign them to their newsletter, get their alerts for the job, so that the moment that they start posting, you could be one of the first people. I don't believe that this is going to be posted like on Indeed. And people were like, yo, like, I didn't even know about this. It was another company that I saw 2 months ago, a town over from Tulsa, but still in the Tulsa area. They have a whole new operation. They've had like over 200 jobs on their websites. And I was just like, okay, guys, like, again, did not see this on Good Morning Empress, did not see this on Indeed, LinkedIn, anything. So I know someone who right now is in a like healing process physically, and they're preparing for the new year. And I was like, look, here's 2 companies, put your resumes in. I said, because you are in the healing process, send them an email about your disability right now, because it's not a permanent disability, it's temporary. I said, communicate, let these people know, hey, I think by January, February, at least first quarter, I'll be good. I just want to show my interest and put your resume out there. And the person was like, I never even thought about this. These are the things that we want to do. That's just how we start finishing strong. Because if you had a rough year and your money was funny, things was not going the way that you needed to, we can still make some good decisions in 2025 to prepare us for 2026, if that is where you are at. So that's something I want people to really take heed to. So you have to start thinking about that. Don't look at, oh, it's January hitting the ground running. It's December 12th. Hit the ground running. Get started now. Start taking those actions today. Whatever it is that you need to do, prepare you for next year, right? So especially if you're looking for that new career move, then definitely. Jason, I'm sorry. I saw this question, but I was like, I try to stay focused before I address questions. Are you a motivational speaker or just a God-gifted person who believes you can do anything you put your mind to? I am both. I am an inspirational speaker, actually. That's what the title that I use, because I don't know. When I first started, everyone was a motivational speaker, and I just was like, I need to stand away from these people. But I am a God. I feel like I'm a Christ ambassador. I love God. God has brought me through a lot of things. I teach from a lot of my own testimonies. And then God just gives me a lot of additional wisdom. So every Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. ish. So today we started 7:20. Central Time, I go live, and whatever God puts on my heart to share, I'm always just about teaching. So you think about the fivefold ministry, I'm the teacher of the fivefold ministry. I teach you, God gives me the principles. These are the things that we should do, helping us to unlearn the narratives that have been instilled in us by society to get us to the path that God desires for us to be on. I want everyone to operate in their purpose. So that is actually the next thing, right? So I want people to get into their purpose, right? So many of you right now might be working in your purpose and you might not know that. And then some of you might not be working in your purpose at all, right? And so I remember being that person who didn't know anything about purpose, but I was already, when I realized and started having those conversations, I was already operating in purpose. So it was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But I wasn't where I was supposed to be. So I really had to get clarity. And so that's what I want a lot of y'all to do. Get some clarity. What are you supposed to be doing? This next, before you make a move, what are you supposed to be doing? Because I think what a lot of people are starting to feel in this, in at least this society, is that people are in the hustle mode, right? They're looking for the more money, more money, more money, more money. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. Chasing after money, it's not always gonna work out in our favor. I've been there, and literally, I remember I took this one job. I left a place that was giving me purpose, was giving me life. It was just that my commute was like over an hour long. And I was like, I'm tired of having an hour long commute. But this was at the peak of my weight loss journey. And I'm helping my client. I had clients that I was helping, and I'm working out with them, and I'm doing all these great things. But I got tired of the commute. So God told me it was time to do something different. Never forget this. Heard is at my desk. And I was like, again, I didn't do the things that I do now, which is I pray to God. I talk to him like, hey, God, what do you want me to do? You said it's something different, but what do I do different? So instead of me talking to God, I went to one of my friends. One of my friends had just gotten a job at a charter school. She was like, they ain't looking for someone that has your skill set, because she knew that I used to be a director of operations. I used to work in corporate America. You know, she was like, I think this might be a good opportunity. And I heard that the pay was great. I gave myself a $25,000 increase taking that job. I reduced my commute from over an hour to 8 minutes. And within 2 days, I knew I made the wrong decision. Within 2 days, I made the wrong decision. And because I was not grounded in the Lord, I did not truly walk with him at that time. I walked with him, but I was just still a little afraid, because it was like, no, like I gotta stay here. Like, you know, I got this job, there's more money. And when I say to you, I lasted 8 months, 8 months too long. And when I walked away, like people were really disappointed in me, because they were like, do you know how much money you left? That's all that they could think about was, and I'm like, but you're not looking at, it's not bringing me fulfillment. I'm not operating in my purpose. I found purpose assignments in that opportunity, but it was not me operating in my purpose. I was not where I was supposed to be. So I always tell people, really get that clarity as to where you're supposed to go, right? Instead of you just jumping and just only looking at the salaries, right? I've watched people do this. They're only applying for jobs that are like 75,000 and better, and that's it. They're not looking at the position. They're not looking at the descriptions, the organizations. Like some of us, we go into these organizations that you're not even aligned with. You have no alignment with this organization. The way that they do business is not how you would do business, and how you conduct yourself as an individual and as a human, right? So I want you to get that clarity. Yes, we need you to have the money so you can pay your bills, right? None of us want to be homeless. I don't want any of you homeless. I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. But I want you to go where God needs for you to be. And I will say this, and I say this quite often, where God may want you to be, it might be outside of your city, it might be outside of your state, and it might even be outside of your country. On the flip side, it could be outside of your comfort zone, right? It might be something that you haven't done professionally in years, right? Good morning, Jen. It might not be something that you have ever been paid to do, right? But if God is saying, yes, that's where I want you to go, please go. You don't know what blessings are going to be there. Because see, a lot of us are looking at our now, right? And let me tell you how that is not always going to be the case. God is looking at the future, right? Because he already knows the end. He already knows how all of this is going to end, right? But we're looking here. We're like, I got to pay these bills right now. So in 2016, people hear me talk about this all the time. In 2016, I found myself at my lowest point, financially, spiritually, everything. Had my second miscarriage, and literally I went downhill from there instead of seeing the blessings that God had saved me. And when I was looking for a position, I kept seeing this job, and I'm like, God, I kept hearing apply, and I'm like, one, this job pays crap. It was $20 an hour. I'll never forget. $20 an hour, and this was in 2016. When I started teaching in 2010, I got paid $25 an hour. So I was like, you let your ego get in the way a little bit. You're like, when I got started, and God is like, I don't care about that. And so the other thing I used to teach my students when I taught career development was like, you can apply for a job if you really feel called to, but if they already posted this like 2 or 3 weeks ago, they already probably applied. I mean, probably already hired someone, but sometimes a lot of companies forget to pull and take down the job posting. So this was all my logic, right? The logical Tanisha was trying to make sense of why I should not apply, although I kept hearing apply. I heard this for 2 weeks. I got tired of hearing it. I finally applied because I did need a job. I needed the money. I needed to catch up so that I don't go into foreclosure. So I was just like, fine, God, I'm going to apply. And I applied, and literally I got called within like 12 hours. They called me. Long story short, I did get the job. And then once I got that job, all the other jobs that I really wanted that were paying more money started calling me. So that's when, see, remember I said I had to learn my lessons. So that's when I started praying to God. God, should I go to this school? Because it was one college that had called me, and I was like, I know God gonna say yes because how much they were paying was really good, even for me to teach 1 or 2 classes a week. And so I was like, I know God is gonna say yes. He was like, no. Then my old coworker, he called me. He was like, hey, I have a substitute position, but for the next term, we're going to need another instructor. Are you interested? So I said yes to the substituting because it was not going to conflict with the job that I was going to take. But afterwards, it was. So I prayed on that one, and God said no. And I was frustrated. And I was speaking to other Christians. And this is why I say you have to have your own walk with God, because although someone is a Christian, they might not understand, and they may not be where you are spiritually. So they were like, girl, you crazy. I would take the other jobs. And I said, but God keep telling me no. He said for me to stay here. So I get the marshal's notice because I told y'all I'm trying to avoid going into foreclosure. I get the marshal's notice. They're like, yeah, we about to come. And it's like the most devastating feeling. Like I felt that in a pit in my stomach. And I was just like, I called my supervisor because, so this was a small training company that hired me. So I called the supervisor, the owner of the company, and I was like, hey, I need you to come to class tomorrow and cover for me because I have to handle this. It's like urgent, code red, danger zone. And she was like, what's going on? I'm not a person to tell my business. God told me to tell her. So I told her, just thinking that she was just going to be like, okay, girl, yeah, handle that. And I'll cover your class. She was like, look, how much do you owe? And I'm looking at her like, why are you like, that's none of your business. And I finally told her, and she was like, come to class tomorrow. I will be there. I'm not going to teach your class, but I'm going to come and talk to you. But come to work tomorrow, and we'll get this situated. I did not sleep. And I remember when I got there, after I taught my class, we sat down and she was like, call them and find out exactly how much you need. And I will loan you the money because it's going to cost me money if you keep missing. And I understand. I guess she's been through that before in her life. And she was like, it's not going to be a one-time thing. So I would rather loan you the money. And I'm like, at that time, I'm working somewhere that I don't make enough money. So I'm like, how am I going to pay her back? But again, I had to trust God. So I trust them. I told her how much, and she literally wrote me a check for $5,000. Now, this was a loan, so yes, I had to pay her back. But literally after I paid that, a week later, one of my sorority sisters called me about an opportunity up the block from my house, and it was a really good amount every hour. And I had like I was able to pay back 50% of that loan by June of 2017. She gave me the check in December of 2017. By June of 2017, December of 2016 when she loaned me the money, and I paid her back half the money by by June 2017. And so that was something that I want people to really understand. Oh, you think I'm making up that story? Sweetie, that's the hard part. You know what, Kevin? And I understand a lot of people, when they hear these types of stories, they don't believe them, right? And I'm sorry that sometimes people have not experienced what God can do. Because I used to be that person. I used to sit and listen to people's stories and be like, man, you lying, until I lived it. You know what I'm saying? To sit, because I remember like right before that happened, I went to church. And this was something that was unique because my old pastor, he never liked to have anyone to preach. He was one of those kind of pastors, if you know what I mean. He didn't want anyone to come guest preach and stuff like that. So I literally, he had someone come and preach at that church. And this lady, she was a heavier woman. She had struggled to walk, and she was just walking around. And she was telling the story how she was trying to buy a house, and she needed like $5,000 or $7,000. She reached out to her friends, and all of her friends were like, she had some friends who were like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't do that. And then she had some friends who was like, yeah, girl, no problem. Not a problem at all. And she stood next to me, put her hand on my shoulder, and she said, if you don't have friends that can loan you $5,000, it's time to get new friends. And I just received that. And 2 weeks later, this happened. Where's the proof or evidence? I mean, I still own the place. Like, that's really the only evidence. We're talking about almost 10 years, Kevin. Almost 10 years that this happened. I don't have the check anymore. Like, life has changed in such an amazing way. So I still own that place that I almost lost. And if you don't, I'm sorry to hear that, right? But you are welcome to stay. And if you want to continue to be inspired, I can sit here and blow your mind. And I could bring other people on here that could blow your mind about all the amazing things that God has done. So that's just something that I want people to really think about. I understand we don't get these feelings, we don't get these experiences too often, right? And so when we don't get those experiences often, we really start believing, we start believing that, okay, everybody is lying out here. No, this is real life. So when I hear people say, and they share their testimonies, I'm like, guys, come on now. This is why I'm telling you, right? This is why I know for a fact, this is why you have to do these things. The last thing I'm going to say is just start creating small steps, right? Set them goals. CJ, you know it. CJ, you know it. That's why I say I still got the place. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the real blessing is I was able to buy another one because, Empress, and you was around, and I mean, you didn't know because we didn't talk like that. But I tell people, like, when that happened, my credit was in the trash. I didn't even know my credit score at that time because I was ashamed to even look at it. And this conversation is totally going left, but I'm gonna let God do what He does. And so someone said to me, "Oh, it's gonna take you like 7 to 8 years to recover." And I was like, maybe it might. And I think I got back on my feet like 2018. 2018 was when I was able to work part-time, make more than enough money. I paid back them loans. That $5,000 loan was paid by the end of December of 2018. Thank you, Jesus, because I did not want to carry that. I had to take out another personal loan though. And I got to pay that person by the end of 2019. And so I'd say, when I got to the point of 2023, when I was able to sit at that closing table and buy another property, I was like, someone told me it was going to take me like 7, 8 years to get back to where I'm supposed to be. And from 2018, because they said that in 2018, it was going to take you a long time to recover and to get your life back in order and get your finances back. 2020, my credit was back up. I got my credit back up by the end of 2020. By the beginning of 2021, I got my credit back up. Was able to buy a car when my truck was stolen, right? Someone stole my truck and I had to buy a new car. And I didn't have to worry because I had the money. Like, the money was there. It was annoying as heck to have to go through that process, but it was just like a great feeling, like, you know what? I can just go to the dealership right now. And that's exactly what I did. So I'm living proof that what the world tells you, right? The world's going to tell you it's going to take you 7 to 10 years. That's not how God operates, right? So it's really, really, definitely so out of pocket when I hear people say, it's not going to happen like that. No, it can. It absolutely can happen like that, right? But I want you to get back on topic so we can finish off this live stream. I'm happy that the conversations. Thank you for once, even the rude comments. Thank you. I appreciate y'all because you know what? You help the channel better. Right, but make simple steps, right? Sit down this weekend, next week, even if you have the time off, right? And just start putting your plan together. Start looking at your skills. Wednesday, I spoke about transferable skills. No, sorry, Tuesday, I spoke about transferable skills. Go back and watch that video, right? The transferable skills, you have to figure out what skills can you transfer. Don't let society and social media tell you what's the next step. Right. So I spoke from an educator standpoint on Tuesday because there are so many educators who believe the only thing that they can do is leave the classroom and go be an instructional designer. And while that is a path option, it is not the path option for everyone. You have to look at what skills you have, what talents you have, and what you're passionate about. And once you have that, right, you are going to be able to now start to decipher where you actually belong. Some of y'all need to go into tech. Some of you need to go into human resources. Some need to go into nonprofits. Some of you do need to start that business. And so it's like you have to use this time. Ask God for clear messages, clear signs of what it is that you are supposed to do next. Before you go on Indeed and before you go on LinkedIn, you need to sit and do that. What am I supposed to do next so that you could be aligned perfectly in the next season? You can put yourself where you're supposed to be. It's not always about, oh, well, I'm ready to make 150 a year. We all want to make 150 a year. But some of you are going to go for the job that's going to pay you 150. And that job is going to make you work 80 hours a week. You're going to be tired. You're not going to have time to do anything that God wants for you to do because you went the wrong path. So you have to really I'm a firm believer. I'm not supposed to work 40 hours a week. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. I've definitely been in a space where I did work part-time and I made more than enough money. I was able to still travel. I was able to pay all my bills. I was able to pay off that second personal loan. Like, these are things that are actually possible. So you have to just get into alignment with how God wants this to work out for you, right? So whatever that next move is, the third thing is the most important. Sit and get clarity as to what it is that you're supposed to do and start making those moves. Some of you might need to go do some trainings. You might need to learn some new things. LinkedIn Learning is a good place for you to start. You can tap into me. I'm doing tomorrow actually is the boot camp for Microsoft Google Workspace. Google Workspace, I'm choosing to do that because everyone doesn't have access to Microsoft Office. But if you learn one of the offices, when you go to the company that has Microsoft, you will at least be familiar. Some people are not familiar with even Google Docs, Google Sheets, okay? On next Saturday, we're going to be going all through Google Sheets and really making sure that people have a strong understanding of how to use this, because that is the one platform that every place wants you to have. They want you to either know Google Sheets or Microsoft Excel. If you don't know one of the two, then you really should be like, oh, let me go to Tanisha's link tree in the description and register, because I still have 2 for 1. And I probably still put some more early birds so you can get this to the cheaper. I'm not trying to become rich and famous. I want people to get the quality information that they need so that you can get the information and the places and the jobs and opportunities that are meant for you. That's all that I want, right? So that's also an option. You have to figure out. Right. So for me, I'm not looking for another career move, but I am looking at professional development. Right. I'm looking at what opportunities could I do in 2016 that I will be able to advance my career or even help my clients and my students. So AI is a big thing. Everyone's doing AI workshops, courses. You don't have to go back to school and get a degree. I'm not talking about enrolling into a certificate program. Sometimes just one class is going to be sufficient enough for you to go out there to do the things that you need, right? So what is that plan for you? Drop it in the comments. If you are still thinking about it, come back to this video and drop them in the comments. What are you ready for? How can I support you? Hit me up in my DMs on Instagram, Tanisha Shanae. You see it at the bottom. Hit me up on my DMs. How can I support you? Do you need help? Do you need some clarity? And then we can work that out from there. But I want everyone who is not in the happy space right now, you're not in the place where you want to be. Where do you want to go? And let's get you there, because that's going to be the best place. If God can get all of us in our right positions, things will work a lot better, right? The people that are not showing up and signing up and applying for the jobs that they need to, I want to encourage you to go out there and do it, because if not, the people who don't belong there, they're going to get it. And this is why we continue to have these horrible systems that are happening out there in the world, whether it's the government, education, everywhere right now is kind of chaotic. And I truly believe it's because the wrong people that do not belong there are in operations, they are in positions, and you are afraid to step up. We see it in the church, right? The real people that are called, they don't want no parts of it. They're like, I don't want to be part of that, because they have seen what people have done to the whole entire entity. So they run away and they just do things in the small capacity instead of really stepping fully into their power. That's another topic for another day. So I am your girl, Tanisha Shanae. I am Miss Inspiration. We'll be back here next week on Monday at 7 a.m. Central Time. For those of you that are welcome to join me. Share this video, hit the like button if you are on YouTube. This definitely helps the channel and helps the algorithm and help other people to know and find me. Facebook, I love you guys, but you always know every 30 days these videos get deleted. So you are always welcome to come watch the 100+ episodes of Morning Inspiration with Friends over on YouTube. And you can also find me on YouTube as Tanisha Shanae. I love you guys. Have an amazing day. Be well, be blessed.
Man, that was another great message, Tanisha. Listen, friends, if you are not watching Morning Inspiration with Friends with Tanisha, then you are missing out. Hit that subscribe button and even share with a friend, because this is the best way to start your morning. Check Tanisha out every Monday through Friday around 7 a.m. CT time. You will not be disappointed.